kidnapped by Palestinian terrorists. These terrorists committed crimes against humanity, echoing some of the darkest chapters in Jewish history and remind us why the words never again carry such profound weight for us. The Palestinian terrorist monsters burned people alive. They raped people in their final moments alive and tortured and murdered our emaciated people in captivity for 2 years. They murdered children in cold blood with their own hands. Hamas aren't people who can coexist in society, and they certainly aren't people who have a desire to live in peace. These are terrorists who live with one goal and one goal only: to annihilate the state of Israel and take down Western civilization. This is jihad. That being said, the Prime Minister has made this very, very clear. Under the 20-point plan, there is no future for Hamas inside of the Gaza Strip. They will be disarmed, Gaza will be demilitarized, and the people of Gaza will be de-radicalized. As stated directly in the 20-point plan, Hamas and other terror factions will not have any role in the governance of Gaza, directly, indirectly, or in any form. All military, terror, and offensive infrastructure, including tunnels and weapons production facilities, they will be destroyed and not rebuilt. Let me dispel the rumors and the misinformation that are in the media right now, who have reported that Hamas will not disarm. Contrary to your reports, Hamas will be disarmed. The Prime Minister says this will happen the easy way or the hard way. It is time the media holds Hamas accountable for continuing to violate the ceasefire agreement. And let's remember why we are here. Prime Minister Netanyahu said in the last few days that the Palestinians were given a de facto state back in 2005. Israelis left every inch of Gaza. Hamas decided to use the Gaza Strip as a launching pad to conduct terror attacks against the state of Israel. Now, many Gazans have been forced to live amongst the terrorists themselves, with terror tunnels under their homes, weapon depots within schools and hospitals, and using the suffering of their own people caused by Hamas themselves to elevate propaganda, sadly parroted by too much of the media without question. This is not a terror group who can have a role in the future of Gaza. This is a terror group that will have no future in the enclave. Next, our final deceased hostage, Ron Gvili, must come home immediately. Hamas is now stalling for 62 days in returning his body. Over the last few days, the Prime Minister spoke directly to Ron Gvili's family, making the commitment to bring Ron home. He will continue to exhaust all efforts to accomplish this. Also, on our hostages, I want to point you to a very, very difficult video that will be released tonight in full by Israeli media. It shows 6 of our hostages who were executed back in 2024, lighting the Hanukkah during captivity months before they were murdered. I want to remind you of the unimaginable horrors our hostages endured while they were in captivity. Starvation, torture, sexual abuse, manipulation, no medical support, causing our hostages to mentally and physically break. But the one thing they didn't lose is their hope. Despite the barbarity of Hamas filming them while in their most vulnerable and terrifying moments, our hostages' faith and their resilience did not waver. Please don't look away. Show the footage on your networks. It makes the case for why Hamas can never, ever have a role in the future of Gaza ever again. Next, on Wednesday, Prime Minister Netanyahu had a warm and a friendly conversation with the Indian Prime Minister Modi. The strategic partnership between our nations continues to grow in security, technology, and regional stability, and will be strengthened even further in the period ahead. Now, India and Israel share a clear principle. Terror must be confronted and never appeased. Both leaders agreed to meet very soon, and they're committed to advancing this partnership at the highest level. And finally, Prime Minister Netanyahu also spoke with the Bolivian President, Rodrigo Paz Pereira, and congratulating him on resuming relations between Israel and Bolivia. Both leaders agreed they must work to promote cooperation in various fields, with an emphasis on security while restoring the abundant tourism of many Israeli travelers in the natural landscapes and rich cultures of Bolivia. Prime Minister Netanyahu invited the president to visit Israel. I'll now take a few questions. Okay. Hannah Julian from the Jewish Edition. U.S. envoy Tom Barrack is insisting that Turkey be included as part of the International Stabilization Force in Gaza because of their warm ties with Hamas, which he says he feels will mitigate tensions between the force and Hamas. Does the strengthening ties between Turkey and the U.S. pose any threat to Israel? Will Israel allow Turkey to participate in the International Security Force? I have nothing to share with you at this point in time. This is Luca from AFP. Can you comment on the statement by Hamas officials last night that Hamas will not deliver its weapons, but only put them in storage, that the International Stabilization Force will only be deployed on the border between Gaza and Israel, not inside of the Gaza Strip? So like I said in my briefing, and I will continue to reiterate it, Israel will continue to follow the 20-point plan. There will be no Hamas inside of the Gaza Strip. Hamas will be disarmed. And we make that very, very clear. Prime Minister Netanyahu has said that over and over and over again. They will be disarmed, and it will happen either the easy way or it will happen the hard way. Unfortunately, Hamas, for, like I said, more than 62 days now, has not fulfilled their side of the ceasefire agreement. They were supposed to release all of our hostages within 72 hours. I'm standing here more than 62 days later, and we still have a hostage in captivity right now. Ron Gvili, he cannot be forgotten. He will be brought home, and Israel is making every last effort to ensure he comes home for a proper, dignified burial. So like I said very clearly in my briefing, there will be no Hamas in the future of Gaza. They will be demilitarized, the Gaza Strip themselves. And as Prime Minister Netanyahu has said over the last few weeks, there's a third phase, which is to de-radicalize the population of the Gaza Strip. Okay, so it looks like those are all the questions we have right now. If you have any other questions, you can reach out to our office. We will try to answer them as soon as possible. Thank you all for your time today.